Hey guys, what's up? On this video, I'm gonna be ranking the Predator perks on Predator Hunting Grounds. For those of you that have seen previous videos of me talking about Predator classes and builds, it should come to no one's surprise which are gonna be the perks I'm gonna be mentioning and ranking here. They are the perks that I tend to use on pretty much all my loadouts, only for a few exceptions that there are like certain perk combinations that tend to work together, but individually like the perks that I consider to be the best ones in the game. I have already mentioned many times in many videos about certain classes, the best build for like Jungle Hunter, City Hunter, Elder, and other classes and on and on. Like the best perks tend to be like the best for almost all of them, except for a few occasions. There are like some classes I would say, wait, I don't think I have an Elder anymore. But like for classes to have like low stamina, I would say back then like when I was maining Elder, I would always use Adreno on this class. But it's a perk that makes more of a difference on Elder because you need to be more mobile, as you don't have much stamina. But in other classes like Hunter or most of the classes, you don't need Adreno. I don't think it's gonna be necessary. Adreno is a very useful perk, mainly to decrease the weakness of the Elder or like other classes that have low stamina. But on its own, like on most of the classes, it doesn't really make that much difference. Same one with other ones that can be good, like Modify Reserve for classes to have like low energy, or if they don't have many perk points. I would use Modify Reserve on City Hunter back in the day, as I would like put downrange, large punch, or medic, and then the third option, because of the limitation of the perk points of the class, I would use Modify Reserve. Both Modify Reserve, Adrenal, like they help with weaknesses of certain classes, but they are like okay. And I don't remember if everybody remembers this build here, which is a build that it's about be able to stack damage reduction perks, which are Impenetrable and Advantage. Those perks together, they can be very good, and this is a very powerful build for specifically this kind of gameplay that I did with this one, which is about attacking for the trees, which is, I mean, a high advantage only works in the trees, so that's why I have to do play like this. And it only works in maps and locations that have a lot of trees, so you can take advantage of this. So what I'm saying is that for the Predators, unlike the Fighting have very like individual perks that are very strong on their own. While for the Predator, I feel like it's more about the build, it's more about the loadouts. Because Impenetrable and Advantage, they are very good together. They might like this build here had a better performance than builds using perks that on their own I consider to be better overall. It's just that like when these two here are together, they make more of a difference, you know. It's more about perk combination, because on their own, Impenetrable and Advantage, they do not make it to my top 5, you know. Those two perks on their own, they don't make it to my top 5 of best Predator perks at all. And actually the number 5 spot here for the perks is kind of like, has been really hard to decide, because I have to take like account like perk points, I had to take in account like the kind of classes that you use, and also the fact that we have night mode now. If there was no night mode, I think it would be a little bit easier, because it would be pretty obvious. The reason why I'm gonna be putting for here in my the number 5 best Predator perk is gonna be protection. And people are gonna say, oh, protection is so situational. Like, probably most of the matches you probably won't to worry much about losing your mask. Yeah, I know, but when you take in consideration night mode, and night mode is part of the game. This is like a ranking for the game in general for public matches, which you have to deal with night mode, with which you are pretty much blind and you have to rely so much on your night vision. And for many Predator players that try to play in night mode, they try to make effective builds for it, like back in the day, like Thunderwolf and guys that play with me, they would always bring protection for night mode. Pretty much it was like obligatory, because it is easier for the fighting to remove your mask, to snipe your mask off, usually spotting the Predator and shooting him. It's easier overall in night maps. So protection comes in hand, so you don't lose your mask, because you need thermal vision. I mean, even in day maps, losing your mask is bad, but in day maps you don't lose it as much as in night maps. So I have been using protection mainly on my Scar build. Where is Scar? Yeah, here. Also because he doesn't have enough perk points for me to be able to use like downrange here. But anyway, I think that protection has been very good. I mean, for this build, I don't need downrange because Scar has Stalker, and I play a lot with my stamina full. So it's kind of a little bit situational. Like in some builds, like having damage boost from downrange is not that much necessary. If Scar didn't have like Stalker, he didn't have like a specialization that increases damage, it would be much harder to make this build work. But overall, protection is good. I think for number 5, for the number 5 best perk, I decided to put protection. Like other ones that can be good depending on the class are Modify Reserve, Adrenal Boost. Trapper to situation depends on how lucky we are getting the traps, but it can sometimes make you win the matches. Impenetrable and Advantage are good on their own. I mean, they're like okay, not good. I mean, I think they're very good together. but they're like okay, but they don't make that much of a difference. I think that the damage resistance that they give, it's like the fighting damage is just so high that Impenetrable and High Advantage, they don't make that much difference on their own. Like Impenetrable is 20% only for bullets, High Advantage is 25 for all damage, but you have to be in the trees, so it's more about when they are together. When they are together, they make more of a difference. And so, which is why, like, I'm trying to judge here and rank the perks by what they can do on their own, you know, not really about their combination. At number 4, I'm gonna be putting the Lens. And also this perk is here because, well, we have to take consideration that it doesn't work in night maps. It's almost like useless, but it's just so useful in day maps. And even at night maps, even though they can still see the laser, they see a little less, because the laser in night maps is just terrible. Like it stands out so much in night maps. Just it's so much that it pretty much like suicide sometimes to try to charge the plasma in night maps, because how visible it is. The lens does help a little bit in decreasing the visibility, but they can still see it in night. Like it's just, there's no way. But in day maps, the lens is just so powerful. It almost completely removes the visibility of the plasma caster, and you can do surprise plasma caster shots, charged plasma caster shots, which if you're stacking the right perks and specs, you can go up to 150 damage. You can even one-shot fighting players. For those of you that have seen my lens builds in action in private games, it's very useful, it's very powerful. It's like the best chance for stealth as a Predator, because you can do a fully charged plasma caster shot on the fighting before they even know you're there. While with other weapons, like usually they give a little bit of a more trace. Of course, the smart disc can do more damage than the plasma casting. It is more powerful, but usually they can hear the disc coming their way. They'll be able to know where you're gonna be, where you're using the disc from, because of the noise that it shows. With the lens, you have more of a stealth. Of course, you need to have right angle and position to be able to do a charge direct hit on the fighting. But overall, it's very good. Of course, it tends to be more useful on classes that have higher perk points or higher energy, because if you're gonna focus on use the plasma caster, it has to be in a class that has a lot of energy, so you can use a lot of the caster. But overall, for number 4 spot, I'm putting the lens. For number 3, I think I'll put Medic. Medic works much better with large pounds and vice versa. Like large pounds and Medic together, that's really a meta combination here. But since I have to judge it individually, I would say that Medic on its own, even though there are occasions which I pick Medic instead of Large Punch, I think that overall Large Punch is going to be better, so that's why Medic is the number 3 spot. Healing fast helps a lot. It prevents the fighting from sometimes killing you, as you can heal faster from the second wind before they can manage to get you. You don't have to to run so further away from the fighting. You can heal faster, recover fully, and before they can, sometimes if they are trying to chase you, if they're trying to kill you, you can heal fully before they get to your location, you know? And because of that, it prevents you from dying in many situations, or it allows you to recover faster, meaning you won't be away from the fight, and you'll be able to keep pressure. You can go back to where they are, so you can keep fighting them. Or you don't want to give much free time for the fighting so they can do the mission. You want to always get back to the action as often as possible. So Medic does come in handy. It does help a lot in those situations. But the problem is that Medic on its own, that means you can only do this twice. By default, the Predator only has 2 medikits, and like 2 medikits is usually not enough. That's why sometimes you might want to use Large Punch. For number 2, second best perk in the game, I'm gonna be putting Downrange here, and it might be, to be honest, these top 3 perks, they could all could be one or the other. I think that this combination here works very well when they're together. On their own, they're all Downrange is powerful on its own, but Medic and Large Punch, it's so hard for me to pick one or the other here. Between Downrange, Medic, and Large Punch, they all work so well together that it's just hard for me to rank them like this. But I think I'm putting Downrange in the number 2 spot. More damage is always important, but in some Predator classes, depending on their specialization, Downrange is not as necessary, you know? Or sometimes it can be as you want to stack Downrange with the damage boost from a specialization. You can have here Celtic Analytic. This is a very effective build. Doesn't have Large Punch, as you guys noticed, it's going to be the number 1 perk. But the lens, as I said, can be very useful. Here I'm stacking damage of Downrange together with the damage boost from Analytics, so I can one-shot a lot of the fighting classes. It is very powerful. While in this Scar build, I decided to not use downrange because I could use downrange instead of medic and large punch, but I decided not to, mainly because of how good the combination of large punch and medic is. I mean, those two together might be better than bringing downrange. It just, as I said, for the Predator, is more about the build and the perk combination itself than the individual perks. So, and in this situation, Scar has Stalker, so I already have like a source of damage boost anyway. But downrange is overall a very good perk. You always want more damage. The Fighting has a very overpowering damage, so you kinda need as much damage as you can in order to be able to secure kills, to get people down. Downrange makes a lot of difference, mainly on the plasma for sure. Like with the plasma shots, I do feel like it's the weapon that I feel like it makes most of a difference. More damage, the better. If you can stack with the specialization, that's good. If you cannot, okay, well, it's better than nothing. As long as you can have like some source of a damage boost, I think it might be enough to be able to down most of the fighting players. Number one perk in the game, Large Punch. Yeah, it was hard to pick this, to be honest. Large Punch work much better with Medic, even though Large Punch increases the gear of everything, which is, that's kind of why I decided to put it on the number one spot. Mainly with classes like this, let's say like a class that can have Medikits, traps, and either motion detectors or audio decoys, you're gonna have two more of each one of these. It can make a lot of difference. Sometimes having more medikits, more traps, can sometimes make you win. It's mainly because of this. Of course, if you can heal faster, helps a lot. The main problem is that like 4 medikits takes a lot to heal. The healing animation by default is kind of slow in my opinion. Sometimes I prefer, if I don't have medic, if I cannot heal faster with the medic perk, I prefer to just get a pig sometimes because there's no time for the Predator to just do this slow healing animation all the time. I mean, maybe for like healing from like 40-50% HP, but not from 0. It takes too long. And the time that you're healing, if you're gonna use 4 medikits, like, you know, with normal speed, it takes so long. The fighting has a very high chance of finishing the mission before you can fully heal. So that's a big advantage because usually those 4 medikits, depending on the mission and depending on the kind of fighting that you're fighting against, you won't even get much of a chance of using all those 4 medikits anyway. But it depends on many situations. Sometimes you can prevent the mission from being done a lot. Like, it just depends. Like, but in some situations, like having 4 medikits without the medic perk won't really make that much difference. But, well, large pounds doesn't work just for the medikits. It also works for bear traps and other gear. Sometimes having 2 extra traps can make you win, especially like a chopper. If you have like you already used like a few traps to kill the first fightings, and the last members are at the chopper, and sometimes throwing a trap at the chopper can prevent them from escaping and make you win. So in regards to that, it does help. Large pounds does help. And also, like, if it's a long match, if you're like, you don't want to run out of medikits, it depends a lot. If the fighting is trying to chase down, if they don't want to do the mission, if they just want to try to kill you, that can make a difference, large pounds. So because they might try to prevent you from eating piggies, if they want to just kill you, chase you down, having medikits can help. But then again, if you cannot heal fast, they might get to your location. But then again, with Scar, I mean, Scar is a class with a lot of stamina. So yeah, maybe for Scar, you might be able to heal easily without having to rely on medic. But I still prefer to have medic on Scar anyway. But yeah, number one spot, I think that overall, just because in most situations, having more medikits will help you. And having more traps. Like, usually in these situations, I think large pounds might be overall, like, even though, like, if you... the good thing is that we can pick more than one. I don't have like in the builds, you know, because like I said, I'm not saying like in all situations that large pounce is always better than medic, because large pounce I put in number 1 spot and medic is number 3. Not always. Like, as you guys could see here in my Celtic build, I decided to put medic instead of a large punch, which I could use. It's just that sometimes in certain situations I prefer to heal faster, you know, and sometimes I can just, even though I don't have more medicals, I can just heal with pigs. It's just situation. It's like a risk. I decided to make this build right here because I already have another build that is this one, which has lens, downrange, and large pulse instead of medic. And also this build here only work for day anyway. But yeah, as like I'm saying, like, it depends a lot on like it's more about the perk combination, like I mentioned already. But yeah, top 5 best perks for the Predator. Number 5, protection. Mainly because of the night mode issue that it is in this game. Number 4, Detail Lens. Detail Lens could be higher if it were not for night map, which is pretty much useless. Number 3, Medic. Faster healing is always good, always help you in a lot of situations. Number 2, downrange. And number 1 spot, large punch perk, which has been kind of situation for, like, I think ever since the game was launcher. I think there's 3 perks here. Always being like no, I think not medic. Medic used to take longer, and ever since the game came out, there have been some changes to perk. The perks, the amount of points that each perk had. I remember that Ditelans used to like take only two perk points, but then again back then nobody used much plasma, so I think the large punch used to only increase gear by 1. Medic used to have less points, but then it wouldn't be as fast as it is now. But like I would say, like for at least 2 years, this has been like the best perks in the game for a while. There have not been many significant changes, and the other perks they're kind of like useless for the most part. Like these ones, let's say Branch Master, Clothed. Those the 1-point perks are kind of like, I won't even if I not use them, like they are pretty much useless in my opinion. Of course, there are some classes in which maybe in a few perk combinations you might have only 1 perk point left. Only a few classes you might run into this while making a build, but you might put one of these. Like for best 1-point perk, I don't know. I think for those situations I either use a light. I think I probably use a light bender, or the other one with heated. Yeah, this one if I only have 1 perk point left, but I think they are overall not very good. Like faster movement speed increase, I don't think it really is necessary. Won't make much difference. Extended blood trail intervals, like I think that it's already so easy to see where the predator is bleeding from. Won't make much difference. Energy cell, it can help specifically on classes that have very low energy. It does make a difference because energy is important in this game. It's an important predator stat, and classes that have low energy are just like missing. They're just in a disadvantage. Energy cell fixes that, but overall it's better to just use classes that have good energy, so you can use better perks than having to use up 1 perk slot just to fix a issue that a class have. Because for me, having low energy is like a issue. It's like a deficiency. It's like a disability. Impenetrable is, like I said before, it's okay perk. It does help you to take a little bit more damage, but it's not as significant. It makes more of a difference on like very light scout classes, like I would say Falconer, Scout, which are the other ones, Chopper, Exalt, like classes like that are very light. They don't have much HP. You are actually forced to use Impenetrable. But then again, the same situation. It's better to just use a class that you don't have to use Impenetrable. You don't have to sacrifice 1 perk slot and 6 points, because in some of the classes, if you use Impenetrable, you don't even have much points left for better stuff. Doesn't make that much difference. I think that maybe on Amazon or Emissary, because they're a little tankier already, they have a little bit more HP. Impenetrable feels like it has more of a difference there, but it's still not that significant on its own. Light Bandit is like, okay, it's like a worse version of Modifier Reserve. Modifier Reserve usually kind of already makes you consume less energy because it's regenerating faster. But it's like, okay, if you only have 1 perk point left, Modifier Reserve is good. Use it many times on like City Hunter class. This one is a resourceful, it's just like a perk to get more XP, and well, it's really not the most effective. I mean, when on the matches, it's like a useless perk. It doesn't really make anything difference like in the Predator itself. Spectral Awareness, I guess it can come in handy in some situations. It can be cool, so you can hear the fighting better, but I was like, whatever, won't really help much. Fearless, as people know, I don't consider melee to be the best way to play as a Predator in this game. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, you don't want to use melee. So like, if I'm gonna play the most meta way as a Predator, I'm not using melee. So why you use a perk that increases damage on melee weapons? Sure, if you enjoy playing with melee weapons, sure, maybe Fearless will help. But I think that just having a specialization like Ghost, I would just pick a Predator with Ghost specialization that already gives me more damage from melee, and just use other perks instead of Fearless, to be honest. Like if I was gonna use like Amazon, you can put like Medic, Large Pounce, and Fearless, or you can put Impenetrable. But I think either way it's gonna be fine. Cooling Sticks, reduce cooldown energy overload, recover from energy overloads. I really don't think it matters that much if you're gonna be recovering like 2-3 seconds earlier. There are just better perks overall. Long Jump is fun, sure. You can leap a lot, you can go, like you can get to the fighting faster with Long Jump. You can run away. It's just like a fun perk, but in practice, like it helps you get away from the fighting, get close to them, but it doesn't really assist you in like in the fighting situation that much. High Advantage, like I said, good perk, mainly while using together with Impenetrable. Impatient, it reduces the cooldown of the second wind ability. It can help you not dying, pretty much. Like it prevents you from dying, or sometimes it allows you to sacrifice your second wind sooner, so you get like a kill. It can help you in some situations. I actually tried like some years ago, try to make a build with Impatient work, but other perks are just better. They're just better overall. And Impatient takes 5 points. Maybe if it took less points, if it was like 2 or 3, maybe I could use in some of my builds, some loadouts, but because of 5 points, nah, I prefer to use those points with something else. Hanging on, extend the duration of the second wind ability. I don't even remember if I ever used this perk, to be honest. So while your second wind, your HP bar, I assume, is going to be higher, it's going to be bigger. Sure, it can prevent you from dying, but I think the medic does a better job at preventing you from dying during second wind, actually recovering from second wind, because you just heal faster and go away. With this perk, you can run away for longer, you can stay second winded for longer, but eventually if the fighting is catching up to you, they might catch up to you at one point, you know, if they're using like chaser builds, whatever, but just better perks overall. Observant, see mudded fighting infrared footprints. Very situational, maybe if you like finding the last guy that is either going for the radio or going for the chopper, but I think that tracker specialization just does a much better job overall than at this perk. Again, just better perks. Adrenal is almost like a must in some classes, but nowadays you don't have to use those classes that require Adrenal. Like I would say, I use it a lot on Elder. I was mainly Elder with this this perk, because he has low stamina and I need to be more mobile in the matches, especially when the people try to chase me down. But right now, anyway, the reason why I used Elder a lot was because he had Stalker, which was one of the meta specializations on the game. But nowadays, we have, first they added Cleopatra, which also had a low stamina, and I also used Adrenal on her. But eventually they added Bionic, which had a good amount of stamina, so I didn't have to use Adrenal on Bionic, and he also had Stalker. And then they added Scar, which not only has Stalker, but has a lot of stamina anyway, so it's pretty much like I Elder with Adrenal already, you know? So I don't even have to bother with Adrenal. Protection, like I said, I already mentioned top 5. In the number 5, like, very useful to not lose your mask in night maps. Trapper, situational. I know a player, as some of you guys might know from private games, that he loved this perk. He used it all the time, because he was very good with traps. His main gameplay consisted of trapping the fighting. And if you got you trapped, you're dead. Because with Trapper, it takes too long to escape the trap. And you're fucked. This also worked with the Netgun. Netgun also is going to be harder for you to escape, but Netgun is not really the meta gameplay. Using traps from the trees and attacking the fighting from range. While they're trapped, that's more of a meta gameplay. But yeah, if you're trapped and the Predator is using Trapper, you're probably going to go down. You won't be able to escape in time. It's very rare. But if the traps don't work, if the fighting is able to outsmart you, and be able to spot the traps, destroy them, and you run out of traps, well, Trapper is going to be like pretty much like a useless specialization. I mean, useless perk. It would be like one perk slot for nothing. Ascender, like, this is like... I almost laugh at this. It's like cool. Oh, my Predator can do, like, climb the trees faster. But to be honest, I don't even climb trees. I just jump directly on the branches. So, like, for me, I don't even climb trees. But yeah, sometimes climbing the tree can get you killed in this game, because you get stuck into an animation and the fighting can just shoot you while you're climbing the tree. But instead of just using a perk that makes this animation faster, it's better to just not climb trees, just jump on the branches, so you don't have to worry about that. So, kinda useless. Heated. Vision mode consumes less energy. Again, this is like a worse version of Modifier Reserve. Some classes, like the latest DLC ones, like Scar, Celtic, Pirate, Bionic 2, they don't even like lose energy. They don't consume energy with vision mode. So they already have like heated by default. So this perk doesn't even make any difference in these classes anyway. So yeah, fast hands. I think that when you play with key bindings, as people know that I do, you can already change between your weapons and gear fast enough. With fast hands, you can do like a little bit faster, but I don't think it's that significant. I think they're just better perks. Fast hands is good. It's a good one. Sometimes you can change weapons faster, even faster than normal, and you can do like combos. You can apply damage faster. You can throw the combo, follow with an arrow, and follow with a plasma. One fast attack, one after the other. But it's just like you're already fast enough doing that with just key bindings. Fast hands, sure, you can do it faster, but there are just better perks overall than this one. I just don't think it's really it won't make that much difference in many situations. So well, this was it, guys. I hope you guys liked the video. See you next time.